Hello, race fans. This is Larry Supermouth Huffman, AMA Hall of Fame announcer, and this isn't Supercross. It's Wednesday! And you're watching Bay Fishing with Roman and Brian. Stand by while the boys teach secrets of bay bass fishing with Roman on his 6-second nitro-burning pedal drive kayak, and Brian in his Cool Baits high-speed dragster boat that he takes out every Sunday. Be there!
Hey, yo! Whoa, what's going on here? Can you hear me? There it is. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Stack. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I can't hear myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh man, hold on. Give me a second, guys.
You're good.
Check 1 2. All right, cool. Sorry, guys. We messed with the audio a little bit. If it's too loud, let us know. It looks like it's okay. But okay, welcome. We're here. It's a special day. It's not very often that we get a special guest. So today we have a guest. I don't want to say who it is yet because I already know who it is. But welcome. Brian, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Roman?
Good. Sorry, dude. I'm just like so tired. I did jiu-jitsu today and I'm trying to do keto too. And it's like rough times right now. It's like I'm about a day in.
If you guys follow our Discord, I know you guys there's like a already starting. This has happened before in there, but there's like a diet challenge going on. The judge has decided he wants to lose some weight, so
and everybody jumped on the bandwagon.
All trying to help him, and we're gonna jump on with him. We're all gonna try to lose a little weight.
Awesome. All right, boys. So, first order of business here for today is to do a shout out for the first comment of the day, and that goes to what, Leonard? What up, Leonard?
What?
Leonard,
Leonard.
Give me a hot beating out Peter 86. We'll give the first like of the evening to Peter. What up, Peter? Good to see you in here. Jared Brackton in the house.
What's up, Jared?
I see. What up, Coach? Is the coach here? Sorry, Coach. I'm the worst at communicating. I know. Ryan Newbrander in the house. Got Carl Black in the house. What up, Carl? Got Javi SD619. Welcome to the stream. CBN Bates Co. What up? Welcome to the stream. Stephen Gage. Captain Dan. Kevin Dan's in Beantown, Boston. Wow. Cool.
Wait, is the Supercross in Boston? Must be.
It must be, yep.
What's up, Captain Dan?
I see Sammy Prum in the house. I see Dave Rage. What up, Dave? Welcome to the stream. All right, boys. Let's do this. All right, so Brian, what's going on here? This is your doing.
Let's start out our show like we always do for the past 4.5 years with our pop top, of course, eh?
Let's do it. On a scale of 1 to 10. Well, let's do it now, but our guests also do a pop top, so prepare your drink. Here we go.
That's right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best pop top you ever heard in your life, 1 being the worst, rate this pop top.
Drink of the night is cherry bubbly. Pinky up drink. Here we go. Let's see what you can do.
Oh my gosh. What's up? Trying to blow the speakers, dude. Rest in peace, your speakers. You can hear the echo of the counter.
Wow. I don't know what it sounded like coming through the speakers, but man, in my headphones, that was a ripper. That one sounded legit.
That was a ripper.
Doug El Sueño, what's up, Doug?
Welcome to the stream, David Rivera.
How's your adventure bike going, Doug?
Oh, I know. So
Doug
cool.
has an adventure bike, which is like a dirt bike, but a street bike. And he's got these bright yellow headlights on it. And every time I see an adventure like that, I'm like, is that Doug? Is that Doug? Because he's always cruising around town on that thing.
That's a sweet bike. Yeah, that's cool. Let's see.
You ever take off any
10,
sweet jumps?
11, 10, 6.9. All right, Carl, let's go.
David?
Very nice. Okay, cool. There it is.
Stephen Gage, 11. Thank you. Stephen Gage is going to be in PB Shoutouts tonight.
Oh, yes. Very nice. But that's why he's here, huh? I see what it is. I see how it is, Dave. Steven. All right, here we go. Put it in the chat what you're having as a tasty, refreshing beverage for this evening. And then I'm going to do my pop top. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best pop top you ever heard in your life, 1 being the worst, rate this pop top.
Solid. Cheers, buddy.
Solid.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everyone. I'm doing Mountain Zevia.
Oh, is that like Mountain Dew?
No, it's Mountain Zevia, bro.
Oh, it's got caffeine. Don't get all wacky on me. Same Prem gives you an 8. Gin and tonic.
Oh, it does have caffeine in it. I'm going to go wild.
In there. What's up? Gin and tonic. Jeez. Oof. Ugh, gin, man, that's one
Mhm.
drink that I don't know. Not for me. Doug gives you a 10. Dave's World H2O. So if you guys didn't see or read the beginning of the show, we have a special guest tonight, which is awesome for Fishy Hour because it seems like we've been doing so many results shows lately with Spotty Bowl.
Mhm.
It seems like it's almost every week that we haven't had like a fishing talk show lately. So I'm super pumped. I'm super excited to have Davey on here tonight. He'll be coming on here shortly. But first, we're gonna get through some quick announcements. Guess what, guys?
I want to
You
announce.
spotty bowlers-
I want to announce that Javi gave me an 11. Let's go, Javi.
Did you send him a free shirt?
No, but I will.
Guess what, spotty bowlers? It is here. The weather's warming up, at least today. But we are at Mission Bay this weekend, the 12th to the 14th. So all you spotty bowlers, don't forget to declare your day, first of all. And also, I want to give you a reminder. The judge is always telling me to do this. I'm I do this all the time. My bump board's filthy. Check it out. Cleaned up, ready for Mission Bay. So everybody clean their bump boards. Let's make the judge's job easy. Don't forget, they don't come with these marks on them. You got to highlight all those marks. Make it easy on the judge, eh? So clean your bump boards. And the last thing I'm gonna say about it too on Mission Bay is we'd like you to submit as you go. But if for some reason you don't submit your photos and links as you go, make sure that you don't submit them in a collage. Don't click 5 photos and hit send. Click one, like Roman said last week. Right on the text line, write your size, and then hit send one at a time. That way the judge save him hours.
Yeah, even if you do them all at the end, you still got to do a photo and text individually for each submission. Okay?
And
all right.
Believe it or not, guys, I'm a submit as I go just because I'm always afraid that either something's going to happen to my phone, I'm not going to have service. One time my phone fell into the water. You know, if any of that happens, then your round is over. So submit as your go is what I recommend.
Like the I guess the mind games to submit at the end is that other people can see your score, but nobody can see your score, right? So I mean, your channel is private. Only the judge can see it. So no other competitors can see it. So there's no real gamemanship there. You know, you just kind of shorten yourself. The only thing I would say, like maybe you're on a hot bite.
Yeah.
Right, but after the bite shuts off for that little instance, and then just go ahead and upload those photos. Don't wait till the end.
I think it saves you time at the end too, because if you go all the way till, let's just say 12:30,
that's true.
And who knows, maybe the bite's gonna be hot at 12:30, and then you've got to go through your photos and spend 10 minutes figuring out which of your 20 fish you just caught are your best fish. So we're promoting fish. You can do it any way you want, but don't put it in as a gallery, and make sure you put your length in there. All right. Next up, the next announcement. So don't forget Mission Bay this weekend. So Fish Mission Bay. In the 26th through 29th, we're back up to LA with Spotty Bowl and Alamitos. I got a bone to pick with Alamitos Bay. Last year, Alamitos Bay for me was incredible. I mean, there's some huge bags up there. That bay we've always said is like holds the biggest fish, but man, I have been struggling. So
that's awesome.
Watch out, Alamitos. I'm not messing around anymore. Okay, that's a Spotty Bowl. And if you're part of the MMFC group, or you watch Fishy Hour, or you just want to hang out, on April 20th, Roman, we have the No Skunk Day.
No Skunks Day. That's the day we pick for a group outing. If you're new to fishing, if you're just getting started, maybe you just got into kayak fishing, come out with us. The whole objective of the whole group is to make sure that everybody in the group beats the skunk in that session. In other words, you're going to be fishing with some very experienced guys, and those guys are going to take the time to help you get bit. Once you get bit, then it's a free-for-all. Every man for himself. You can fish for whatever you want. You can fish for side pots. We're not really doing a competition per se, but you can fish your side pots during that weekend. It'll be April 20th. It's going to be a blast, and we'll probably be fishing America's Cup most of the time around lunchtime. And we'll probably take a break at around lunchtime. We'll land the kayaks on the beach there next to probably Mitch's, is it grill or something like that? Mitch's or Point Loma Seafoods. Yeah. We're gonna eat at one of those places. So bring some lunch money, bring some water, and look out for those seagulls. Those seagulls are quick. Those dive bombing seagulls that steal your crab cakes. You know what I'm talking about.
last time we had this no skunk day, we had, I don't know, maybe close to 20
It was fun.
participants in it, and everybody caught a fish. And we set a goal like at the beginning to catch 100 spotties, as a total group. And then we hit the 100 spotties so quick.
Yeah, it was amazing.
We went and we're like, okay, let's go 200. And we had Cash and Jared up there, so they were slamming fish, and we actually hit the 200 fish on our last no skunk outing. So let's see if we can break that, guys.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy launch too, guys. We're launching out of that south side of Liberty Station. What is it? Something Park.
It's basically Liberty Park.
Yeah,
and it comes out of the bridge by Spanish Landing, and you know where the fuel dock is in Spanish Landing. There's a bridge right across from that. You cross under that bridge to get surfing.
The full details are in the Discord server. So !Discord in the chat to get that link to our MMFC Discord server. Then look for a thread called No Skunk Outing or No Skunk Session, and there you have a map, you have instructions, you have times. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. You can leave whenever you feel, whenever you have fish, as long as you want to, or as long as you can, and it's gonna be fun.
That's right. What are you gonna be fishing out there, by the way?
Nothing but Ned rigs.
I knew it. Here we go.
I'm bringing the Ned rig back. You guys forgot about it, huh? You guys are sleeping on the Ned rigs. Okay, only the guys up north are Ned rig fanatics. They understand the power. The power of a Ned rig compels you. Right.
Okay, so we'll next week we'll show a map on that. We got one more week of Fishy Hour for that, so we'll have a few more announcements. Okay, then we got apps and taps coming up. The CCA, nothing but nets.
And the end.
Maybe you guys can teach me how to fish a net.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'll take my purse off and I'll grab my Ned rig. Anyway. Apps and Taps is coming up. If you've never been to that, it's a cool event. CCA puts it on. It's to raise money for the CCA. Your admission also includes your 1-year membership to the CCA.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what CCA is, check them out. We actually have some of the board members. They're usually in chat right here. And the CCA is what is fighting for our fishing rights. You always say, oh, man, I wish I would have, done something. I didn't know that was going to get shut down. Well, these guys are keeping an eye on those guys and making sure.
I mean, stuff is still getting shut down. Don't get me wrong, but at least it's not getting shut down as fast. It's like that's
what?
Yeah, dude. Have you seen the latest? I mean, we'll talk about that in another episode. But god dang. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you get admission. Okay, you get beer, right? The crowd goes wild. You get.
That's gonna be there.
You get apps in the form of sushi, handcrafted custom pizza from Captain Dan. It's his birthday that day, by the way. If you want to celebrate Captain Dan's birthday, you should show up. Yeah. And you get barbecue, right? On top of that, for sitting at one of our VIP tables, you get to sit at one of 2 MMFC VIP tables. We're gonna have a custom swag bag for you guys. We're gonna have you get, I think, tickets for the raffle without having to pay extra. You can still buy more raffle tickets and improve your odds, but you get some raffle tickets with your admission. Okay, the regular admission I think is $75. You come in, you walk around, and for us it's $100. You'll be at the table. You get to be with the crew, and you get all this extra stuff. So it's for a good cause. I don't usually promote any kind of stuff here, guys, and I do make the exception for CCA, and I think they're doing a good thing. And it's a great way to support them in the fight because they're really fighting for us. Okay. And also, Captain Dan's going to be there. It's freaking awesome. Who doesn't love Captain Dan? Yeah. Okay. He's the world's real most interesting man. If you guys didn't know. Right. Okay. Just ask him anything about his life and it's freaking amazing. I took the kids out. Sorry to rant here. We went to lunch the other day with my kids, and on the way to there, I was like telling my kids, you guys know Captain Dan is the actual captain, right? They're like, no, I thought it was just a cool guy that made pizza. I was like, no, he's a captain. Anyway, it was fun. It was a good time out, Captain Dan.
How many seats do we have left?
We have 8 seats left. Sorry, I totally went off the rails there.
No problem. So already signed up are Carl, Cal, Salty, Leonard, Corey, me, Roman, Dan, Zach, John, and Eric Klein. So they're all going to be there. We got 8 seats left. Let's fill them up. Okay. Any other announcements, Roman?
I think that's good.
I forgot to tell you, I got a pet fish. Did I tell you about this?
Mm-mm.
I have a fish that can break dance, but only for 20 seconds and only once.
Oh. That's so sad.
I know. The other day, my wife was crazy. Ken, are you in here? Chad? Jojo? The other day, my wife told me I need to be more in touch with my feminine side. So I went out and I crashed the car.
Oh, dang. Danger. Danger.
Anyway. All right. So let's do this before David decides not to come on.
Yeah, you're gonna scare Davey. Holy, oof! That's right spot at best. That's the exact reaction.
Anyway, so all right, let's go ahead and Roman's gonna go ahead and bring in Davey here. So if you guys don't know who Davey Brown is, check out his. He's got a huge YouTube channel, guys. Davey's World.
Such a
Fishy.
good resource. Yes,
I mean, I've been checking it out. He's got over 650 videos on there. He's been doing it for 5 years, and you're about to find out who this guy is. He fishes in Spotty Bowl along with us. He's a kayak angler, and he also works for Akuma and Fish Lab. So give Roman a second here, and we're gonna bring in Davey Brown.
I think I just need Davey. Oh, there he goes. He's ready to rock. He's ready, man. He's ready, man. It's like I used to do. Sorry to jump in here. I used to do a podcast before about spearfishing, and sometimes some of my guests would be hard to it would be hard to get them to keep talking. They would just say like yes or no on some of the questions, right? But I love having guests like Davey. He's like an expert speaker, and like it's kind of like driving a Ferrari, dude. You just kind of give him some little question, and he just kind of goes with it. It's like amazing. All right. That said, coming in live, right? Here we go. Davey Brown, Davey's World. Let's go. Welcome to the stream. What up, Davey?
What's happening, gentlemen?
Oh my gosh, so good to have you on. Very cool.
You talk about talking a mile a minute. I mean, Dave, if they don't know who this is, Davey Brown right here. And if you've ever been to like a fishing convention like the PCS or Fred Hall, those type of shows, I always see you there, Dave. And I don't know how. I worked a booth like for one day, and I lost my voice. I don't know how you can spend the entire day up there. I mean, you get so many Akuma questions. I'm sure. What's it like working in that booth for 4 days straight, maybe longer?
It's a lot of fun, actually. When you get to do something that you're passionate about and talk about, it's pretty awesome. The questions that come through, of course, a lot of Akuma questions. What's my best bet for striped bass up on the Delta? What's my rainbow trout setup? What's my spotty setup? And being able to chat with these guys and talk about all these different fishing techniques that a lot of times we don't get to do down here in SoCal is pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
And of course, we just do the shows out here, like you mentioned, Fred Hall and PCS. But on the industry side, we're at the Bassmaster Classic a couple weeks ago in Tulsa. We're up at the ISE show in Sacramento. We're out at shows all around the country, learning different fishing techniques and fishing varieties all over. It's great.
That's sick. That's cool. So David, let's get started with a little bit of your background. Let's see. Not necessarily. Let's just go with like. Do you remember your first fishing outing, your first fishing encounter?
I do. So I've been fishing my entire life. I'm 50 years old. I grew up here in Southern California, born and raised in Long Beach.
That's cool.
My dad used to take me fishing as a little kid on the Belmont Pier. From there, led me to the Annie B barge that used to be out there in the Long Beach Harbor. I was a pinhead out there when I was about 8 and 9 years old, cutting tom cod and all that kind of fun stuff, and just kind of kept fishing from there. Jumped on my first kayak in about 1990, 91, right in there somewhere. Float tubing the harbors ever since I was a little kid, walking the docks like we all do now by the Bahia Corinthian Yacht Club down there in Newport, and all the other fun places, chasing spotties. Back when it seemed like we used to get a lot of big spotties back then, but a lot of fishing. My dad actually retired up in Big Bear, so I spent a lot of time up in Big Bear fishing rainbow trout, trolling for rainbows, casting for rainbows in the float tube with the fly for rainbow trout. Just a little bit of everything my entire life of fishing. So it's pretty cool to be able to have a job where you get to talk about fishing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Go, Brian, you have a question?
Yeah, Dave. So it sounds like you've been fishing your entire life. And fishing's been part of your life a lot lately, it sounds like, from what I've been watching on your YouTube channel. How did you get introduced into like the commercial side, I guess? How did you get introduced into like becoming with Akuma and Fish Labs? I mean, how did you break into that industry?
Certainly. So I've been with Akuma for coming up on 18 years already. my background, as we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, is I used to work for a big theme park out here in Southern California that was run by a big mouse. Worked there for a really long time. I actually left there. I worked for Hilton Hotels. I was director of purchasing at one of the local Hiltons down in Huntington Beach. But when I was doing that, and I did that for almost 10 years. When I did that, all of my vendors that would come in and talk, they'd see pictures behind me of just fish, me and tuna, me and my kayak, a new kayak, whatever that fishing magazine I happen to have sitting on my desk. And we'd end up just talking for, it could be hours and hours about fishing. Then those vendors are like, oh shoot, I got to send you something. I got to sell you something. Let's, here, just take this PO, just do something. So, that kind of was where that was at with my purchasing background. And then at one point there happened to be a sales position that opened up at Okuma. And this was right around 2006 now, I think it is. It was a sales position. I knew these guys. I had been fishing with several of them prior to my starting when we used to do the old kayak tournaments way back when. They mentioned that there was a sales position that opened up. I went and talked to, at the time, Doug Lasko, who was the president who actually just retired. Just spoke with Doug, and he liked the fact that I was the purchasing background. I knew what a lot of buyers were looking for from the sales side, so I was able to slide right in there.
That's cool.
Didn't really have any sales background at that point, but I was one of the regional sales managers for the first half of my career there at Okuma, so it was about 8 or 9 years at that point. Covered the whole western half of the U.S. I had all of Canada. I had the Northeast at one point. So, when I travel, let's just say I sit towards the front of the plane. So I get a lot of miles start to add up quickly when you're doing a lot of that stuff between distributor shows, consumer shows, visiting retailers throughout the year. With Okuma, I've been to all 50 states.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
That's one of my goals. To go to all 50 states. Go
ahead.
Are you bringing your?
It sounds like you talked your way to it, Dave. And I've said this on the show, Dave. You got the perfect YouTube voice. When I hear it, it's like the guy that announces like the Supercross is coming or monster trucks. Dave, you've got that. That catchy voice. I don't know. Like they must have. You just must have walked in the interview and they're like, oh, we're hiring that guy. Listen to that voice.
Yeah, we'll take him. After several cups of coffee in the morning on most of those videos, getting out there and excited to be going.
Very cool. Davey, on these trips, how busy are you on these trips? Do you get a chance to fish at all these locations?
It's funny. So I will generally bring travel rods with me.
Yeah.
We do sell, we have a lineup of travel rods with Okuma, but I'll bring these 4-piece rods. They'll fit in my suitcase. And if we have time, we'll generally sneak out. An odd one, I used to cover Walmart, but that's out there in Bentonville, Arkansas, and the White River's not too far from there. So your meetings might be done at like 2 in the afternoon. You're about an hour to the White River, and you're out there chasing big rainbow trout out on the river. It was pretty cool. These Florida trips, we're out in Florida all the time. Of course, now I actually manage our captains and guides program with Okuma. So
that's awesome.
I've got a list of captains and guides around the country. So good relationship with most of those guys, as well as all of our influencers. They're always inviting you out, and we try to sneak out with those guys as often as possible. So to answer your question, I generally have a lot of fishing licenses from various states that in my possession at once.
I've got a follow-up question for that. So, David, you've traveled the world fishing. You've traveled everywhere, and it sounds like you're fishing everywhere you go. Now, I'm asking you this question: what is your favorite fish to fish for? And remember, there's only one correct answer.
Clearly, it's spotted bay bass. Kind of a silly question.
In the whole world, let's go.
No, seriously, spotted bay bass.
Spotted bay bass are awesome. Love spotties. I do love it all. I spend a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest, getting up on the Metolius or even one of the other rivers with chasing, of course, rainbow trout with the fly rod and the scenery and everything that's going on with the sunrises and sunsets. It's amazing. And then, of course, you find me out chasing bluefin tuna. Get the big popping rod up on the bow. And hopefully hooking one on the popper and handing it off to somebody else, because that's not a lotot of fun once you actually hook one of those on a spinning rod.
That's true.
You must have not seen our video. There's a video me and Roman made.
It took probably like an hour to land a fish.
So I know your pain, Dave. Trust me, my legs never recovered from that.
We got a question coming in from Sammy Prum. Sammy, thanks for the question. He says, Davey, what's your most exotic fishing place you've done? Or the most exotic fishing place you've been.
My wife and I have been down to Honduras a couple times. which was really cool. And we actually befriended one of our tour guides one of the years we were down there. And of course, he happens to have a boat, which is always convenient. We happened to go back down there for another trip, and he took us out, and we were just trolling trash lines, like finding logs, and it's just loaded with Dorado. You get on the boat, and they've got reels that are half spooled with old monofilament, and it's the gear these guys have, but these guys are just loading up on fish, and it was just this scenery and seeing dogs running on the beach and the people and the food when you get off the boat. Those places are awesome. I just had the opportunity to go down to Panama a couple months back, which was amazing as well. And we didn't get any, but chasing big roosters, you're seeing them finning and everything else. And then heading out, you get the Hurricane Bank or whatever right off of there as well. And just some, you do get some pretty cool opportunities, but a lot of times it's some of that local fishing that ends up being some of the best and most memorable.
That's
okay,
awesome.
Guys. So we've got Dave from Kuma here. So don't forget, this is one, make sure that if you have a question, you put it in our chat.
Yeah, this is the time to ask, boys.
Letters question, and Roman and I will spot it and ask David. So here's your chance to ask somebody from Akuma and Fish Labs, and that's fished around the world, your question. So don't hesitate on those.
We're gonna
Dave.
We're gonna stick to the fishing topic for now, but then we're also gonna move into like maybe what it's like to get a position like that. What would you have to do as an angler to maybe look for opportunities there? But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, let's keep on with this most exotic place you've been to. But let's follow up that question with, if you could go back to any place you've already fished, where would you go back?
Any place I've ever fished that I'd like to go back. Panama was pretty amazing. I would love to get down there and actually do a kayak specific trip. We used to do it with the company would do it a lot back then. We don't do those trips as much anymore, but getting down there and chasing the big roosters and the big cabria and stuff with the kayak is amazing. I've done Cedros on the kayak, which is really incredible as well. In fact, I had a really cool trip with Jeff Mariani, who, most of you guys might know him, Southern California guy, but he runs a kayak deal down there. And we've had some just amazing trips where you're on the Hobie, you actually pull out the drive, and we'll just drift across the top of the kelp and just pothole for big calico bass. The guys that are with us are wanting to go chase yellowtail, but you're just dropping down and boom, these big 4, 5, 6 pound calicos are just hammering you.
Oh, that's cool.
We're just letting the wind push us across the top of the kelp. But if I got a chance to go somewhere, back down to Cedros and do some of the kayak fishing, or even into Panama again.
Very cool.
Plan a Cedros trip.
Yeah, well, we were set up to go on a Cedros trip before it closed down, right before it, and we had like the bad luck of like every time we get to go on the last trip to somewhere, or we close it off before they go. But Jeff is doing it again, right? So Jeff Mariani's back in business. So maybe we'll see what the interest is like and set up one of those trips. I mean, those trips look amazing.
He's got the house down there. He's got is amazing. The whole facility, the people. It's awesome. Food's always good.
We got another question coming in from Zach Riggs. What up, Zach? He says, what's the difference between a standard Okuma reel and a California reel?
So California is a special makeup. We make 4 turners. So there's not a lot of difference. It just happens to be, it's called a special makeup. So we have several big box companies that come to us and ask us to produce product for them. You can see a special makeup would be, we'll change the cosmetics. Maybe it's going to be a green versus a blue.
Okay.
The ball bearing count might be a little different. A lot of times they'll want us to match exactly what their current lineup is. Like for a long time, Dick's Sporting Goods, we made what they were called their Stratus reels.
Yeah.
And those were all white. So it was a white bait caster, white spinning reels, and you'll find those all around. Yeah. So we do a lot of that for different companies, but a lot of times it's the exact same reel as something that we might have in our regular lineup, just with a different name.
Cool. There you go, Zach. Good question, by the way. Brian, you have any questions?
Yeah. So it's pretty obvious. I think your preferred fishing platform is your kayak, right?
Love the kayak.
That's a good question.
But don't get me wrong. If someone wants to take me out to San Clemente on the skip, I'm all for that as well. I do run, like I said, all of our charter trips as well. So I'm always out on the big boats with the guys. If I can hop on the Excel, I'm out there as often as possible. But I do love the kayak. I've done it for a long time. It's just me and 3 inches off the water, and it's just you. I don't have to rely on anybody. I don't have to worry about electricity or gas or anywhere to launch or anything else. It's just go and do it.
I don't know. A lot of the spotty bowlers I notice are all getting the spot lock trolling motors up front. That's like I'm feeling weird when I'm
Forward-facing
kayak.
sonar, spot lock. Those guys are silly.
I was out on Hodges this weekend, and about half the kayaks now have
Trolling
trolling
motor,
motors. I feel like I'm out of it.
I'm definitely.
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
definitely.
it's interesting. People always ask me that too. They're all, do you like the pedal or paddle, or do you like to go with the trolling motors? I've been actually a paddle kayaker forever.
Oh,
I
wow.
just finally caved in and went to the pedal kayak probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I still got paddle kayaks back here. The pedal system's great, but once you get into the motorized stuff, you have to register the boat. You got some different rules and hoops you have to jump through as well.
Yeah, I'm still leg powered. Like Sammy says, he's still Asian leg powered.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm still leg powered.
Though last year, and I did go with the trailer for the kayak, which is an absolute back saver. Love it. I see Brian at the launch ramp all the time. It's great.
There you go. That's
What's
good.
that? I didn't catch.
He's using a trailer for his kayak. It's a back saver.
Oh,
that's
gotcha,
true. I think Roy also fishes with a trailer.
Oh,
by the way,
I did see that on your kayak last time, David. I was like, oh, I need to get that.
By the way, if you guys are fishing with a trailer and you're going to the April 20th No Skunk session, you can launch your kayak at the Shelter Island ramp and then just meet us over by like the what is it called? That restaurant?
Ooh, I don't know. Oh, Valley High.
Valley High, that's right. Valley High.
Little-
Cool.
Valley High.
All right.
So, Dave, you're fishing spotty bowl. It's your first year. Welcome. We're glad to have you. You're doing actually really well. I think you're right on the curve, like the edge of playoffs. We won't mention the last round though.
Uh-huh.
Was that? I'll just spill the beans. Dave unfortunately got his pictures in a little late, so he had a huge bag, but unfortunately it was a little late, and the judge has no leeway if it's past 1 o'clock. So, but hey,
It happens. Now I know just submit them all the time. I thought I was doing the right thing by submitting them all at once towards the end there and just picking out my top 5, and I'm sitting there all going through it. That's all right. Live and learn.
Yeah, we'll collate them for you.
We've all got a judge deduction at one point in spotty bowl. Trust me.
I know it's like so, and like it's a really. I mean, it sucks when it happens. I mean, we've had to do this to like Dino, right?
Yeah.
Salty, myself even, and like, guys, we're trying to run the tightest tournament there is. So I mean, if we're disqualifying Davey's bag, I mean, we'll disqualify your bag. We're not playing favorites here, right? So yeah.
It happened. It's just funny that you sit back and you watch those results, and then you get your little calculator out, and you're like,
That's terrible. But hey, like Roman said, Judge is trying to keep spotty bowl the gold standard, and that's the way we're going to keep it. There's no gray areas. It's black, it's white, and it's like we're keeping it the gold standard, and that's what's going to make spotty bowl great, and that's what it's going to keep on going, and that's where we stand out from I think other tournaments. So your first year,
go ahead.
Your first year fishing spotty bowl. What are your impressions of this format? The pick your day, the playoffs. Have you ever fished anything like this?
I'll tell you what, it was really good. I really enjoyed it until last week. No, it's awesome. It's really fun. I've been telling everybody about this format and the options that you have. Pick your time slot, pick your day. If you happen to have to work through the weekend, you can have other options. Work the night shift, do the earlier one. As I was mentioning to you guys earlier, I've got to travel this upcoming session for the Alamitos one. I fly in early in the morning on that Sunday. I'm gonna have to fish the afternoon session. Hopefully it's not raining like it always is. But there's some options for us. I'm not completely zeroed out.
Yeah.
So it's great.
You got to get in there, man.
Great. People are great. The side pots, you just got to try to remember what the heck the side pots are throughout the day. It's awesome. I keep telling all my friends, like, gotta get in on this, and everybody wants to do it next year. So that's good.
We have some good questions coming through.
Close to 200 anglers, so let's see how this goes. But it's so shocking to me to see how many spotty fishermen there. They started small, and every year just boom, bigger. But it's this. The thing I like about spotty fishing, Dave, is that it's easy for anybody. If you're in a float tube, kayak, shore, you got a nice boat, whatever, you can always go out spotty fishing. It's accessible to everybody, and I think that's why that fish is so popular.
For sure, yeah. You can pop out at any time of day, middle of the night, go still catch yourself a big bag of fish, and it's awesome. We used to do it in the middle of the night on the float tube, get your headlamp, just out there pitching docks, and just crushing them.
Like the no wind at night. It's so fun fishing at night. So fun.
Yeah.
And down in San Diego, it's still free. Up there, when I go to LA, I got to pay the 12 or 14 bucks or whatever it is to launch a boat. But down here in San Diego, I don't know how it's possible, but it's still free to launch down here. So
don't say anything, Brian.
I'm sorry. CCA, fight for our fishing.
Oh my gosh. I've got a question coming here from Zach again. He says, what are a few of your favorite kayak hacks or DIY projects you've done?
You know, the one thing I did add just recently was USB ports onto my kayak.
Okay.
So I'm running the Old Town Big Water 132 PDL. And, you know, there's a lot of deck space on that thing. I do run two 12-volt batteries. I've got the just my standard triple shot fish finder on there, which works perfect on the kayak. I don't have forward-facing sonar or anything else. But, you know, on my channel, I do run some lives as I'm fishing occasionally. And doing that from the phone, you know, that'll drain pretty darn fast, especially like on TikTok or anywhere else. So I do have a USB port that I added in there, which has been great. It's pretty awesome because now I just got a full charge of a phone when I'm kind of done at the end of the day. You know, that's been a big hack. I did not add any kind of risers to my seats on these particular kayaks, but you know, the Bassmaster Classic, the booth next to us happened to be a guy named Kayak Cushion with a K. You know, kayak with a K cushion.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was awesome. Chatted with that guy. We talked a lot of old stories. And I ended up, of course, going home with the regular cushion as well as that back-saving lumbar support cushion, which is...
I need one of those.
Pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily a hack, but
no,
as an old guy, it's an upgrade, it's a back hack saver for sure.
As far as no, I don't think anybody has got like a forward-facing live scope in Spotty Bowl yet. I have not heard of anybody.
I think one guy does, doesn't he? Doesn't one guy just get one?
But he's not. I don't think he's in Spotty Bowl. I'm not sure. If anybody's got it, let us know. They're probably gonna keep that hidden.
I know some guys that do it on the kayak for sure, but yeah, I haven't seen anybody out there yet.
I got a question from Dave Rage here. It says, I'm going to Table Rock Lake next month. Do you have any preferred guides or contacts? If yes, I'll hit you up on Discord.
I don't. You know, it's funny. The bass world itself is just kind of a black hole. We used to have several professional bass anglers. We had Scott Martin, Jacob Wheeler. We had several that were in the Okuma staff. A couple years back, as talking to retailers, they just kept telling us, like, look, just having these professional bass anglers just does not move the needle. So we made the tough decision. We actually parted ways with all of those guys. We had several actually through Table Rock and through all of the different areas down that way. But unfortunately, I don't have anybody down there anymore at this point.
That's interesting. Very cool.
We have another question from Alex Norton, who, if you don't know who that is, Davey, that's our current Masters champion down here in San Diego. Nice. He's also a world record holder for I think it's a black croaker.
Yeah.
Our species champion of our club. So the important question here from Alex Norton. He says, what is your favorite lure for spotties?
I can tell you in about 6 weeks.
Let's go. That's
actually.
I do actually. So it's funny. I throw the A-rig a lot. A lot of guys that know me, they'll know I'll be throwing the A-rig. I'll throw small Kitech tails on there. I'm a small bait, big A-rig guy.
2.8.
I like the bladed A-rigs, but I'll throw the little 3/16 heads with about a 3-inch Kitech tail on it. Fish Lab, actually, we're having some new tails that are coming out this year that are going to be pretty phenomenal that we've been testing. But I love that particular bait for spotties. I come up and guys are like, yeah, that's way too big. You're never going to catch any spotties with that. Or, of course, the big dredgers, the Dredger 25, 25 and a half. You know, those are just giant crankbaits that look ridiculous when you're hanging off the end of your rod when you're throwing those things. Of course, as I say, the cool baits, you know, the cool baits have been phenomenal for us as well. Just pitching the docks, dropping those things down with that 3/16. Those blacks, Brian just happened to hand me a couple of the like black brownish colored heads the other day, and I paired that up with the bluegill color. Yeah, exactly. So I paired that up with a black back, gold bellied tail on that thing, and we went out and wrecked a couple fish the other day. But I've got, when I go out, I'll have 6 setups with me. I'll have everything from a drop shot. I'll have a scrounger with a fluke. I'll have the A-rig. I have spinner baits. I do catch a lot of spotties on spinner baits. Guys, you know, it's something they're afraid to throw. Everybody feels like you got to go those little finesse baits. The Ned rigs are phenomenal as well. But, you know, they feel like you got to go something small that's going to finesse those fish out. But these guys are reactionary. They're big. They're strong. And I'll catch... on a big spinnerbait, I'll catch a spotty that's that exact same size trying to eat that thing.
So on your spinnerbait, are you doing trailer or no trailer?
So actually, I do fish our Fish Lab one a lot. So the Fish Lab one happens to have, it comes with what's called a mimic tail. It's something new that we introduced last year. We've been testing them for about 2 years now, but it's a double-bladed bait. It's either willow or Colorado. It's got a regular skirt, and then on the trailer, if you can imagine, it's got a big like fish tail shaped tail that's almost ribbed. So when it's swimming, it actually gives a swim pulse to it, and from the side, it actually gives it a real like fish type of profile.
Would you describe that as kind of like a mermaid tail, I guess, where it's like
a mermaid tail? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can, and we sell those tails actually separately, but you can put those over like chatterbaits and stuff as well. It's really cool. Any of your blade baits, really, but they're really cool. And I'll tell you what, if anybody finds me on the water during the next tournament, I might happen to have a bunch of those in packages in the kayak.
Oh, let's go!
You swing on by, I'm gonna boom, hand it right to you.
That's so cool.
What color kayak are you on again?
It's that chartreuse in pink. It's really nice.
There you go, guys. There you go.
That's
spinnerbait. Oh, so one more question about spinnerbait. So what weight are you running? 3/8, half ounce?
Any of those. If I'm fishing deeper water areas, if I know I'm going to try to get down to the bottom and say like the 20 feet, eelgrass areas, I'm going to go with that heavier bait. One thing I always try to explain to people is make that long cast, let that thing sink out, and then give it that retrieve. But of course, you got to pause and let it get back down to the bottom. Most people, they think they're at the bottom, but that bait's just coming right back up to the boat. So you're well out of where the fish are hanging out. Let that dude sink down. But those heavier ones are going to get down to the bottom quicker. So you're going to get more time down at the bottom. But that half ounce, if you can find 3/4 ounce or even 1 ounce on the big spinner baits, there's a couple guys that are out there still making those. Those have been great. A lot of times what we used to do back in the plastic Navy days is we'd order a lot of musky spinner baits, right? So these are big double cowbell, giant, heavy spinner baits. And that was like San Diego Bay where you're fishing in 45 and 50 feet deep, get it all the way down to the bottom and just crank that thing along the bottom.
Get sand bass on us?
Speaking of spinner baits, we actually have had on Fishy Hour the world record, the IGFA world record, Paul, who owns the spotty record, and he caught that in Mission Bay on a spinner bait. And on the show, he actually gave up the location and everything. So spinner baits, guys, I mean, sometimes to me, a spinner bait doesn't produce like 50 fish in a day, but it tends to grab the big ones for me. Like when you're dragging that through the grass, the big ones seem to me go for that specific bait.
And it's cool when you get hit on that too.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you know what?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a train bait too, because if you're reeling it in too fast, you can feel it on the tip of your rod. You're like, oh my gosh, it's going crazy down there. And I think Dave gave the best advice to anybody that's new to spotty fishing is make sure that you're down on the bottom. So many times I see people hit the water and within a second they're burning it in. If you're not down on the bottom, that's where the spotties are at. Make sure you're down on the bottom. That's great advice, Dave.
And you can tell when you're not, because once you pause and you can count your bait sinking back down like 3 or 4 seconds. You're like, okay, I'm 20 feet off of the bottom at this point. I'm nowhere near where those fish are.
Yep. Just keep an eye on that braid. That's a good visual braid. That's a good way to know you're on the bottom. Dave, something sparked in my ear when you said scrounger bait. So I used to fish the scrounger bait, and Captain Adobo and me just actually had a where you mentioned that bait like a couple of weeks ago. Me and Captain Adobo, who's in Spotty Bowl, and he's the #1 seed right down in San Diego down here in Masters. We're talking about the scrounger bait. Can you tell us a little bit about scrounger bait and how you fish it?
So scrounger bait, there's lots of companies that make them. I think Berkeley made a pretty good one several years back, but the one I'm fishing, I think it's called Fish Heads.
That's the one that comes with two scoops, and you can take them out if one goes down.
So the ones I've got just came with 1 scoop, but they probably have a couple different options. But you can fish them with the blade either forward or back onto the bait, but of course forward's going to give you the most action. I fish that with like a 4 to 5 inch fluke. I like white. Someone asked the question, what do I like in baits? I like white baits for just about everything I'm throwing for spotties, especially during the day. These tournaments mostly time during the day, but white baits, white bone, all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, like 4.5, 5 inch fluke, just a regular fluke, not a paddle tail style fluke, but a regular fluke on that scrounger, long cast. Let that dude sink down to the bottom and just feel it vibrate as it's coming back towards you. If it's not, you've got some eelgrass on there, which you also then know that you're in the right zone. But, you just got to know after a couple of casts, do I speed up a little bit to keep it above that grass or let it sink down? But I'm generally straight retrieve on those dudes. I'm not giving it a pop. I'm not giving it any kind of wiggle, just a straight retrieve. Let it wiggle its way through. And then I'll just kind of like pause, let it stop, let it go back down, and then do the same deal.
If you've never seen a scrounger bait, it basically looks like a ball jig head with this clear. It's usually clear.
I'm bringing it. I have a picture up here. Just I'm gonna go full screen real quick.
Like
This So let's see what
like a
they're talking
scoop.
about.
And it gives it a side to side. Like you think you're mimicking some, but it has like a scoop.
It has a little
that-
plastic part up here.
Believe it or not,
It's kind of hard to
I don't know if
see.
you remember, but about 2 years ago, we did an entire show on the scrounger bait.
It's cool. It's cool because as it's swimming, the little resistance on top makes it kind of do this, right? As it's swimming,
Exactly.
and it kind of
Yeah.
wobbles. It's cool. It's a good option. It's
I-
kind of like a jig head, but with more
The
action.
only reason I brought that up is because I've only heard of about 4 people that fish spotties with scrounger bait, at least down in San Diego, that's me, Captain Adobo, and now I've heard it from you.
I used to fish
Okay.
it with a slug.
It's super. We used to do
Super
it.
effective
We
with
used
the
to do it a
slug.
bunch, and it's really good in Mission Bay, especially
Yeah.
in those shallow areas,
Mhm.
Fiesta Island area, where you're in 8 feet. A lot of eelgrass when it's starting on that lower tide.
Yep.
Just working that right across the
Uh-huh.
eelgrass is pretty great.
I was like, don't sleep on the scrounger, guys.
Scrounge up
Okay,
some
Dave.
nickels and go buy one. That's good.
So, first of all, I want to thank you for sponsoring Spotty Bowl. Akuma has donated 7 Hakai reels, and if you don't know what those are, I've been fishing them. I've got 2 of them. Here's one of mine right here. 7 Hakai reels. And I guess the first thing I noticed when I picked this up, Dave, is I'm super picky. I fish the slow pitch jig, the submission fish slow pitch jig a lot, and I'm super picky on how it comes off the reel, right? And normally what I fish is a BFS because it's made with a lightweight spool and it comes off real easy. I want my slow pitch jig to fall just perfectly. I want no resistance. And the first thing I noticed is this is very similar to the feel of a BFS reel. And when I took it apart to check it out, see what's going on with this thing, I noticed that it has I don't know if this only Akuma does this, but it has like a ball bearing or a ball on the very end of the shaft. Is that something that only Akuma does, or?
It does. When we designed those reels, we were working with a company in Japan called Dream Tackle. They're very popular in Japan and a lot of the JDM style reels where they've come up with these really cool, unique designs. The Hakai was the first introduction that we had as a collaboration at the time. But as you mentioned, we call it the flight shaft, flight spool. It's got the ball bearings on either side. It's just one bearing, and it gives it a zero resistance, zero friction feel on that spool. And the spool itself is only 9 grams with no line on it. So it's very, very light. And the weird part about that is, it's hard to, at a consumer show, everybody picks it up and they give it the finger spin of the
One
you know what
crank,
I'm talking
hit the
about, right?
clutch.
And then if it doesn't spin forever, they're like, put it back. But it's only a 9-gram spool. But once you put line on that thing and you get some weight to it, it's phenomenal. Some of our early testers and influencers were shooting videos where they were doing, I want to say it was 1/316, 1/16, something like that. Really, really light, but they were getting like 40-yard casts out of that with no backlash. Really can dial those things in with those, it's got that dial on the outside, but great little reels, only 6.3 ounces right in there. They're cool little reels.
That's cool. Let's talk about a little bit like what that actually means for an angler. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm thinking somebody that's fishing from shore that wants to fish, that's usually forced to fish heavier stuff in order to get a long cast. They can now throw lighter stuff offshore, right? Get longer casts off that way.
If you're, it depends. Like a lot of the bass guys are fishing straight mono or straight fluorocarbon spooled up. We're all fishing braid.
Yep.
But if you drop down into that 20 or 30 pound braid with whatever your top shot on there, you can really get that bait out there on those reels, and you can dial those in so much. You got the braking system on the outside. You got your regular, spool tension on the inside there as well. You can really dial that guy in where you're not going to get any backlash. You can do the simple test of hold your bait with whatever it is, pop it open and let it fall. And you can dial it in that way, the way that most people do. But you can really, really tune that particular reel and just make those long casts nice and light. And then as Brian had mentioned, if you're pitching docks and you want that thing to fall as freely as possible, especially these guys that are fishing these, 10-gram flat ball. All those little guys now.
The slow pitch.
You can really just let that dude go. There's no line resistance, and that bait can do what it's meant to do and actually dart around and free fall.
And so that helps because you don't need another setup just for slow pitching, right? You could basically use that same reel for slow pitching and for regular casting.
You can use that for whatever you want.
Basically, it takes the place of a BFS reel.
Over 20 pounds of drag on that little reel. So if you want to use that as your crank, big deep cranking, you can do that as well. There's 3 different gear ratios available, left and right hand, but they're cool and they retail for about $200.
That's awesome.
So when I'm up in Newport and I'm pitching by yachts and all these fancy boats. I have a hard time with the spinning reel. I'm not very accurate with it when I'm pitching because I'm used to standing up and, from bass background, pitching into toolies or whatever.
When you see the lure about to hit the boat, you're like, ah.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, sorry.
I only slow pitch with a bait caster, and I'm looking for, like I said, the smoothest possible. And I typically go with a BFS. But the problem that Dave mentioned is the BFS usually only have about 7 pounds of drag because they drill out the entire spool. So if they put too much drag on, that thing will bend. So the nice thing about this is 20 pounds of drag, which is unbelievable, and you get the benefits of that light cast. Is light cast? Am I right on that? Light cast spool.
Yep.
Yeah, Carl Black says same. He uses a bait caster for pitching. Yeah, I don't want to hit one of those rich person's yachts out there. Come out, kick us all out of there.
Yeah, exactly. If you can get in, if you're in tight, right? If you're right on the piling and your float tube, and you can just open the bail and just let that thing fall, perfect for the spinning. That's great. You do get a lot more line twist on the spinning than you do on the bait cast.
Dave, I want to talk about your YouTube channel. I got you here for a few more minutes. So if you guys haven't checked out Dave's YouTube channel, it's Davey's World Fishing on YouTube. You got a ton of subscribers, and I've noticed you got over 650 videos, all ranging from unboxing videos. And one I thought was really sweet is he has a section on there about different launch ramps all around the country. It looked like, so if you're going to a spot and you want, just say you're going up, I don't know if they have this on there, but say you're going to Clear Lake with your kayak and you don't know how to launch, and you want to know what the parking's like, the launching's like. Dave has those videos. Dave, can you expand a little on that?
Yeah, especially on the kayak side, a lot of guys are always reaching out, trying to figure out where they can actually kayak. It's a struggle that we've all been to. You try to Google, you try to find out just some information on how much it can cost. Is there going to inspect my kayak? Yeah. Is there a fee? Is there parking? Can I actually launch? So I try to do that, and I put that out there for a lot of the folks. Within Newport, I think I've got 3 or 4 just Newport videos on different launch areas for the kayakers as well. But I do that, when I remember, when I'm out and traveling, I try to get down to the launch ramp area. I'll talk to the shop owners or the launch masters, depending on where you're at in the country, and just find out what the details are. I'll try to walk them through. Is there a cleaning station? Is there plugins if they have electronics on their boat? But just try to keep them going on that. As I mentioned, I've kayaked for a really long time, so I've seen the struggle from when we had really basic kayaks to as advanced as they are nowadays, which is really, really ridiculous. Then other fishing stuff, rigging. I just try to do some different tips and how-tos here and there. Actually, oddly, one of my most popular, most viewed videos is how to rig a sinker rig for bluefin.
That's cool.
With the bluefin, bluefin that came up the last couple of years, yeah.
The bluefin videos blow up. Like Roman, what do we get? 15,000 views or something like that on a bluefin video. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody wants to learn how to fish a bluefin when they're in.
But they should be learning how to fish spotties. Come on, guys.
Dude, 2 years ago it was bluefin. I'm sure you were into it. Bluefin fever, man. They were me and Roman caught one 5 miles out. We call it the 5. We caught it.
Yeah, we call it. Everybody says like the 9 mile. We call it the 5 mile because it's halfway there.
Yeah, that was. Did you get in on that bluefin action? It was 2 years ago? 2 years ago,
yeah.
I did. I've been on that bluefin for several years. We, it's kind of weird. We always talk about because we sell baits obviously too, but we always talk about the progression of what the hot bait is. You had to have a kite rig, double rig, sardine, kite fishing for several years. Then it was you had to have a flat fall style jig, just actually a flat fall, not even a style jig. So you had to have the flat falls. Then it was back to the kite. Then it was knife jig. You have to have a night jig. Last year was a knife jig type of deal. Then it's the Mad Max. You have to troll the Mad Max at 17 knots, and then it's spreader bar. So, people are like, you're not going to get bit unless you're fishing a knife jig. Everybody on the boat's getting bit because they've got a knife jig. Well, it's because that's what everybody happens to be fishing on the boat. They're not going to bite the flat fall if they're all in your tackle box.
That's so funny. That's true though.
We were like, we went out on my boat, which is like a glorified bass boat, and we were just looking for foam. We're looking for birds, and when we saw them, we were just throwing the topwater poppers, just throwing it out in there, and they're boiling so much, just trying to, that we thought they'd bite anything. And I'll tell you what, man, when you get a bluefin on a topwater bite, oh my gosh, watch out. That's a handful, especially on a bass boat.
It is. It's funny. So working all these consumer shows, everybody comes up and they'll grab one of our big spinning reels, like the Tesoro, like a 20,000 size. they'll come up with a popping rod, and they're like, "Is this what I need for the big bluefin? Like, like the 250 to 300 pound bluefin?" So yeah, man, go for it. You can't, people, on a rail rod, you could put the rail. You're working that. You're letting the boat do the work for you. You're letting the rod actually do that. You can't do that with a spinning setup. No one has perfected that rail rod spinning setup yet. So.
I've seen those. Have you seen those? You put it in the rod holder, and it's got like it's like a slingshot, so you can kind of put your spinning rod on there without getting the line in the way. But still, it's like a whole nother setup.
Where's the butt end go?
Yeah.
What do you mean? No, it's like a little. It's like a little angled arm like this, and then you just put that before it hits the line, so you're not actually have the line pinned between the rail and the rod. Anyway,
when we went out. I already mentioned this because
Brian's traumatized.
It's out on YouTube and everybody's seen this, but it was my first bluefin trip, and I went out with a guide, Kevin, who's like a legend down here, Kevin Nagata, and Roman, and of course I think they set me up because they put me on a 4,500. You did, don't you say no? Put me on a 4,500 spinning reel on a I don't know 200-300 pound tuna. No, I'm just kidding. It was like a 60 pounder, but felt like a 300 pounder. Anyway, I still got bruises on my leg, Dave.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. He's still traumatized 2 years later.
Dave, we talked a little bit about Akuma. Can we talk a little bit about Fish Labs? So the weird thing I think that happened with me and Dave is kind of how we got to know each other a little bit. Was I was on the show before I even knew Dave, and I was talking about this fancy little dragonfly bait I got, and I guess that went through your office. You mentioned it to me, and did that spark like? Here we are, Spotty Bowl. There's guys fishing our baits down there already.
Well, it's kind of funny. So I think I had just signed up for Spotty Bowl as an angler, and I was kind of watching, and you were doing something. You were talking about I think you're doing like 3 setups or whatever you had talking about spotty fishing for the season or something. And as you're holding it up, I screenshot real fast, like, oh, shoot, that's the one. And it happened to be our Fish Lab. It's the Flutter Nymph, which is it's a mayfly style nymph bait, dragonfly. It's got 4 wings on the back with little paddle tails. So as it falls, it actually, each one of those swims exactly.
There we go. You can keep talking. I'll hold it up.
But that's what actually sparked it right there. That's part of the Nature Series lineup of Fish Lab. Those are all designed by a guy named Bill Siementel. He's from BBZ Baits.
Oh, okay.
If you're a bass guy, everybody knows BBZ, the big swim baits that he produced, and the rats and all this kind of fun stuff. But he came on as a product designer with Fish Lab a couple years back. We've all known him for a really long time on the bass side. He parted ways with the previous company that he was working with, and he was more than happy. He actually just came out to the Bassmaster Classic with me a couple weeks ago, and this guy is, I'm sure you guys know some lure designers as well, but they are like mad scientists. He opens up his notepad, and we're in our Airbnb, and there's nobody around, but he's looking around like somebody's like peeking over his shoulder, and he's showing us notes and scribbles that he done. It'll say like whatever the scribble is, it'll say like 1988. It's just this stuff that's been brewing in his head for year after year, and it's been pretty cool.
I think I got to talk to him at the PCS show up there. Was he with you?
He came up.
Yes. Oh my God. You know what? When you come across somebody that has like a really passion for something, it's just so nice to talk. I don't care what the passion is. If your passion is knitting, whatever. I'm into people that are into a passion, and that is their passion. And I could tell talking to him that, he is passionate about what he does.
He certainly is. Yeah, it's been a good addition to the Fish Lab side. There's some really cool stuff that we're going to be introducing at ICAST this year as well. But just to kind of give you the history of those baits, we used to have a bait brand called Savage Gear. Speaking of Nakata, but we had Savage Gear. We had it for several years. How that partnership worked out was that Savage Gear was the European distributor of Okuma over there, and we were the U.S. distributor of Savage Gear over here. So it was a kind of a crossover partnership.
That's cool.
We actually grew that brand quite a bit, and we finally ended up parting ways and everything else. But we wanted our own 100% owned bait company, so we all sat down. We're coming up with names, and of course we're coming up with a bunch of guys, right? We're sitting in an office. We're coming up with all these kind of crazy weird names. We finally settled on Fish Lab. We had Big Gus, who's a tattoo artist. He actually drew up the little logo that we have on there.
It's actually I'm really impressed by the marketing. The name is fantastic, and I love it's like the DNA genetics. It's like a genetic sequence, right? But a fish. That's freaking awesome. Yeah.
It's been cool. It's a fun little add-on piece of business for us. You know, as a fisherman, it's always fun to go out and, you know, as we like to product test,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, I'll go test that out for you for a week. So
There you
there's
go.
you know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff that we get to do, which is pretty cool.
We've got a huge group of spotty bowlers here. So if you ever have anything Fish Labs that needs to test out, we've got a group. We've done science projects on this show where we test stuff. So if Akuma or Fish Labs ever wants a testing group, let us know. Fishy Hour will put it together, and we got a ton of anglers that are willing to participate in anything.
Yeah, for sure. If we end up doing goodie bags or whatever at some sort of event, even at the Apps and Taps, actually, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it down this year, but you know, those kind of things, we can always add a couple of items to those VIP bags for you guys as well.
That'd be awesome. So, and real quick, guys, when Davey sent those reels over for Spotty Bowl, he did send a bunch of packs of these guys. I'll be taking these with me because I told you guys if you guys see me out there, I'll give you a pack. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all the ones he sent me to our April 20th outing, and I'll give you a couple. Depending on how many people show up, we'll split them up evenly. That way, you get an opportunity to fish them.
What's your preferred way on fishing those, by the way, David?
So actually, it's kind of cool. We're introducing only a 2.5-inch size.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I can take a sneak peek of those.
So that if you happen to be a drop shot person, if you like to drop on the pilings and drop underneath the docks, just a little tiny nose hook on that thing and just let that thing flutter up and flutter back down underneath the docks. Very simple, very, very effective. I like to fish them on a ball style jig head. I actually rig them upside down. So that because the way it is there's the body and then there's the little fins on top. So I'll rig it upside down. Exactly. So I'll rig that thing upside down, and then the hook, there's nowhere near those little fins or the little wings.
So the wings affect the rate of fall.
Working those at the edges, parallel those docks.
Yeah.
And of course in the eelgrass.
Have you tried them on the A-rig yet?
I have tried them on the A-rig. I just get super impatient. I'll make about 2 casts when I know I should be catching a fish right away. Start ripping them off. All right, put the tails back on.
That's hilarious.
Kitechs are like a drug sometimes. You know what I mean? We know they're super soft and they break.
That's funny. Sammy's like, I'll test anything.
Give them up. Yeah.
Captain Double says, is a 2.5 flutter nymph out yet? 2.5 will be delicious.
The first shipment's going to be mid-May on that smaller size.
Okay.
So currently, I think it's the 3.5 and the 4.5 that are available. But that small one that we've been kind of pushing around here a little bit, I think is mid-May that first shipment.
Okay, there you go, Captain Double. Any other questions? Put them in the chat, guys. Go ahead.
For you guys that are in Spotty Bowl too, Fish Labs has given us a coupon code for a checkout. What is that code again, Dave?
That's a great question.
You got to be in Spotty Bowl. You got to be in Spotty Bowl to get the code. You got to be in Spotty Bowl to get the code. So if you're a Spotty Bowl participant, you're getting a huge discount on your Fish Labs order. It's
exactly. It's right on Discord. So I mean, head under that little Fish Lab section, and it goes right in there for you.
Yep.
Spotty Bowl, take advantage of that. And,
dude, if you're buying enough stuff, it's worth just signing up for Spotty Bowl just for the discount. I mean, come on, it's amazing. Angel wants to know if you need a 3D designer. He's taking his shot like Wayne Gretzky.
There you go, man. Put that out there. I'm sure we are always looking for stuff. So we're doing a lot of 3D designs on the Savage Gear side. We actually did a lot of 3D work. Cool, yeah. So I don't know if you ever saw like the bat baits and things that we did.
Yep.
So that was an interesting project. We actually you had to come across actual. Like the rats, you had to have some actual pieces that we were scanning to make these, like the bats, and that's those are all overseas.
Did you do the suicide duck?
Yeah,
the suicide duck,
the snake.
But that we didn't have a little tiny duck for that one. That was actually more of a shrink down ish thing.
Yeah, that's cool though.
But that 3D work, that's always good stuff.
I bought that bat lure, and it looks like, okay, if you imagine what a bat would look like if it fell in the water, like its wings are kind of struggling, that's exactly what it looks like. I saw that thing, and I was fishing at El Cap, and I was like, I want to see what this thing looks like. And it looks like a bat in water struggling to, like, fly away. It's amazing.
Damn, the judge over here roasting Sammy. Sammy took a hook to the finger the other day. And then
did you see that last week, Dave, on PB shout out?
And the judge said Sammy wants to test more treble hooks.
Nice.
Jeez. Oof. Yeah, we need an oof sound.
Oh, and I have an update Sammy's hand. I did message him this week, and Sammy's hand is 100%. And he's healed up. So good job.
There we go.
Good job, Chet, for cleaning that wound and getting that hook out.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
back and ready to go for
Good
next
stories.
body bowl session.
All right. So
So we talked about Kuma, we talked about Fish Labs in the pre-show, guys. You guys know what a huge, I guess, the park you're talking about that the mouse runs fan I am, and I'm a big wig up there, and I like to head up there. I found out that Dave was a former employee from up there. Can you tell us one story, at least, Dave, about your being up at that park?
Sure. I was I was there for quite a while. I was there from 90 to 99. I was there through some really interesting times. I worked everything west of Main Street. So, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, everything on the river. The river was kind of like my home.
that's cool.
The canoes, the keel boats, Mark Twain, the rafts to Tom Sawyer's Island, all that fun stuff. Everything over there was really, really cool. I've got a lot of off-air stories that we'll be able to share with you guys. The on-air stuff, probably not so much, but we've been there for the thick and thin of it, from the opening of Fantasmic, from the very first show that thing ever showed, from the old Mark and Brian parties when they would be there with that show when that was introduced, to some really great times. Met just about every celebrity that would go through that park, including Michael Jackson and his entourage. So it was some really, really neat stuff back then.
That's cool.
Have you ever worked Space Mountain?
I haven't. I've just everything on the west side there.
I don't blame you, because when I go into that ride, I'm stressed out for those people, because if you don't know, they got to send those carts out or it'll log jam up. And man, that looks like a stressful job right there. I don't know how much they're paying them, but not enough.
I'll tell you what. So I worked on the west side. So back then it was like Country Bear Jamboree, right? It was still there. Lots of really cool stuff. The west side was always cool because we had the trees. We actually had water. We had grass. You get to the east side, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland. It's all concrete, hot. Fumes from the Autopia. It's warm. It's polyester outfits over there. It's a different time.
Well, the west side is cool because you got the Jungle Boat captains, you got the canoe guys, which are probably the two coolest people out there working on the park, right?
Yeah, and so it's funny. So you want some canoe stories? I'll give you lots of canoe stories too. We used to do the canoe races, of course, were a lot of fun. But the canoes back then, you would work all day. You'd be your head down, you're paddling. You go from the front of the canoe to the back of the canoe, then the dock position, and then a break.
Oh, wow.
So you had a break like every 40 minutes. Of course, we were all 20 years old at the time, and we used to work out and be healthy and all that kind of crazy stuff way back then. But you'd work your canoes all day. You'd pull a double shift, so you'd work Fantasmic in the evening till like 1. We'd run to State Line. We do like it's a State Line trip to go do a little craps or whatever. Come back, hit that canoes in the morning, all one eye open and probably not smelling all that pretty. Right back on the river with river water. It was good times.
Yes. There you go.
Oh man. Speaking of Fantasmic, man, that was heartbreaking to see Murphy go away. If you guys don't know, Murphy's the big dragon at the end of the Fantasmic show this last year. The thing, I don't know, something happened with the hydraulics and the thing burnt down. But I'll be there for opening day Fantasmic on the 24th of May.
They're reopening it?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be the same show. Anyway, I'm probably going too deep dive into Disney here. I love Disney.
It's good to see Brian's passion about that place. He goes there a lot, and rumor has it he's a pretty big deal there. He's a big wig over there.
I didn't even realize he was on this call until we started talking about Disney. So that's cool.
Okay, Dave. So
here we go. It's a good question. It's a great question to finish this on. Any bass in the Disney World in the what is it? Any bass in there like Disney World?
So there's no bass in Disneyland in the rivers of America. There's a lot of carp and goldfish and things.
Okay.
And we would see people. You would catch them. It's a little bit more strict getting into the parks now, but we would see people that would pull out a 1-gallon milk jug from their backpack of goldfish that they got at whatever local shop. Dump them right into the river, and they would get fairly big, 18 inches sometimes. Wow. But with, once Fantasmic came around, when they started putting the lifts and everything in there, they would actually drain it a little bit more often. So those fish never really got to mature as much as they did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the fish, it was the rats. So what they used to do on the river is they would use some kind of poison that the rats would go drink enough water that they would just kind of fill up.
Yeah.
And they would be like a submarine going by. And these things were gigantic, and you'd be out on the keel boats, you know, you're doing your spiel and you're having a good time, and you look down and you see that thing and you're like, holy moly, if someone could stand on that thing.
Jeez.
That's crazy. Fun history of Disney though.
Yeah.
Back, I think when the park opened in the 50s, didn't they have it where you could actually go in and catch a trout? Like they actually had like a fishing dock, I believe, that you could.
So
catch
in
a
that
trout
little, I
and
forgot what they used to call
for
it,
the day.
Huck Finn,
Yeah.
something
Oh, okay.
rather. Florida still has that. So at that Riverside Resort where I happen to be staying in a couple of weeks, they actually still have a fishing area there where you can go out. It's sponsored by Pure Fishing of all
Wow.
things, but they give you like some power bait and a rod and reel, and you can actually go catch like bluegill and stuff, which is kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. All right, I think that's enough of Disneyland.
So I've put
Talk.
Davey's World Fishing link in the chat, guys. Make sure you go over there and give him a sub and check out his videos. I mean, if you watch all his videos, you're gonna learn a ton. You're gonna learn a ton about not just bass fishing, gear, setups, rigs, locations, launches. I mean, and it's very, very well put together. I like that it's categorized. It's very nice. So
What day
my
is the championship? Because right after that, I'm going to release all the here's the hot spots in Newport and Alamitos videos.
Yes.
That's
Okay, so
good.
last question for you, Dave. If people that watch the show know I'm superstitious about my fishing, I rotate. I try to find my lucky outfit for Spotty Bowl, and I stick with that until it doesn't go, and then I rotate out a hat or sock or whatever. Are you superstitious, Dave?
You know, I'm not super superstitious, but for this year, it's been the Spotty socks.
Oh,
And
that's
I think
awesome.
I posted about those early in the year. I was just out with Shay McEntee from Stoked on Fishing this last week, and I happened to have the Spotty socks on, and it actually worked. You know, it was a good day regardless. But it's funny. That's kind of the thing now. If I'm not wearing them, I've actually got them tucked in my hoodie in the little pouch in the front, just in case.
Just in case. Nice. There you go.
Hey, are you gonna be wearing them next round?
Of course, unless it's 115 degrees, I'll have them with
All
me.
right.
They'll be on the kayak. Whether I'm wearing them or not, who knows?
Okay, guys. Thank you, Dave. I really appreciate you coming on. I know your time is valuable, and I thank you coming on. I thank you for sponsoring Spotty Bowl this year. All the champions are going to get one of those Akuma Hakai reels.
right.
They're awesome. Trust me, guys. I'm going to do a full review on those one of these days. Probably fish the whole Spotty Bowl with it and then let you guys know. And Fish Labs also, check them out. Is it AkumaUSA.com?
AkumaFishingUSA.com and FishLabTackle.com. Those are the two websites for the two baits. Head over to the Discord. Check out that Fish Lab discount code as well. I think it's 25 or 30% off. I can't remember what I did.
It's like 30% off. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Guys.
It's some good stuff in there. The tailspins. I know a couple of the guys down in San Diego have been doing really well on the Fish Lab tailspin. So
Roy's been doing good on those. Yep.
So have a great trip. Safe travels to Florida. And I hope to see you out on the water during Alamitos. So I will see you out there, and we'll both be snagging grass and catching bass, right, Dave?
Exactly. And if you see me, remember the other guys just come see me as well and come get some of those free spinner baits. I'll have a bunch in the kayak. So
Perfect.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Thanks for tuning in.
you, guys.
We're taking Dave out with a round of applause from the live studio audience. Thanks, Dave.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So that was awesome. First of all, shout out to Dave. Thanks for taking the time to jump in the call and give us a whole hour of his time to sit here and answer questions. Hope you guys took advantage of those questions and got the details for the information you wanted. Dave seems like
that's like part one. You know,
Yeah.
usually with Dave,
So much to
we can
go.
sit here and chat for like 2 hours.
Oh, we
you know what
could.
I mean, like 1 hour goes by like nothing.
But you know what I like about Dave? He's super approachable, guys. If you see him out in the water, hit him up. Even if you don't want a bait, just go and talk to him. I'm sure he's willing to answer some questions. He's probably used to it, right? And you know what I felt like we should have asked? We should have asked like what's the most common question he gets, right? Especially about
That's what I'm saying.
spotty fishing.
This seems
Yeah,
like
we
a
should do it
part
again.
one. Maybe
Yeah.
a future show we could somehow twist his arm.
Let us know in the
Come
chat
on.
if we should bring Dave back.
Yeah, we need a part 2. All right, guys. So thank you for hanging out so much. And guess what? We've got PB shout outs.
Oh yeah, we
So
do.
Let me
Nice.
find screen share
My
here.
God,
Real quick,
Brian.
Roman.
Guaranteed fishy 2 hours, boys. Ready?
There you go.
Let me
There
get
you go.
this
I'm ready. Let's go.
let me get this music going.
We've seen you out on the water. They say you fishing harder. I guess we'll find out this week on our PB Shout Out!
Yeah, let's Let's go. If you don't know who that
Dang.
is Cal up front, double fisting. If you want to be on PB shoutouts, send me a direct message on Discord or on Instagram. Brian likes to fish, and I'll put on anything. Doesn't have to be a PB. It can be an old picture, new picture, or just want to show off your boat. So first up, you ready, Roman?
Yep.
We got a video.
Oh, we do? Nice. Cool.
Before I play this video, though, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool story right here. So this is from Sean Fitzsimmons, local slayer up there in the OC. What's up, Sean? And that is his son, Wyatt. Sean says, my son, Wyatt, is 3.5 years old, and he's a bright and beautiful boy. My son has autism, so every day is different and can be challenging. Playing outdoors and nature brings him such joy and happiness. Fishing is something I enjoy sharing with my son, and he is learning to enjoy it as well. Sean,
awesome.
Let me tell you, you are doing the right thing, buddy. Best times of my life were fishing with my son when he was a young guy. I'm almost going to tear up here because it's just, guys, this is the time. Enjoy it. So good on you, Sean. That is amazing. Keep up the good work, Dad. He says, thank you so much for the opportunity to share my love for fishing with my son, and to all you guys. Thanks, Brian. Of course, Sean. So I'm going to play a video real quick of Wyatt. If you're watching, what's up, Wyatt?
Hey,
You're on
Wyatt.
Fishy Hour.
There you go. Reel it in. Good job. What? Yeah, you're doing it. Good job, dude. I'm so proud of you. Look at you. You're doing it. Catch a big one, buddy. Nice. I like it. Good style.
Thank you for sending that in, Sean.
awesome.
I can already tell by future slayer. Let's go, Wyatt. Congratulations on that. Oh, man. Fishing the Tranks and looks like a Phoenix rod, too.
That's
Starting
cool.
out in the big times. So thanks for sending that in, Sean. Next up. Guess what? There was a
Dang.
tournament this
Let's
week.
go.
And guess who won it? Our very own Daniel Jones. Let's go, Daniel. Round of applause. He wants to say fish the San Diego Anglers Open Bay Bass Open Tournament, and he placed first with a 76.5-inch bag. Let's go.
Woo, woo. Let's go. Nice job.
Okay, Daniel. Man, that's $750. Dang,
It's not bad.
legit.
Hey, that's
Bad for the
hey.
action right there.
Switch to see the prizes for Spotty Bowl, dude.
Yeah, so
Jeez.
congratulations, Daniel Jones. He's a Spotty Bowl slayer, by the way. He says, I'm going to show off some of his fish right here. He says his plan was to fish areas that had produced some big sand bass for the past. Starting at 6:30 a.m. with the incoming tide, I had 5 fish on the board at 65.5 total before the tide changed around 8:15 in the morning. Things were slow until the current started moving again. I caught fish, but no upgrades. So I was tempted to leave, but I stayed in the area, and I'm glad I did. I know that spot holds big fish. I figured out the drift and caught 4 bigger fish in about
Nice.
30 minutes. Dang.
Oh, that's a good day.
Most of his fish were caught on hookup baits, chub color, and ice color, and the bigger sand bass were caught on the Berkeley grub. Let's
Wow.
go. Nice.
Dang.
So here's his bag right here. It looks like all sand bass. But congratulations. That's a huge tournament, too. So congratulations on that. 17.5. Dang. All right.
That's a fatty.
Looks like a legit bag right there. Congratulations, Daniel. Next up, this guy. So if you don't know who
Let's
that is, first of all, know
go.
who that is. That right there's Dave Rage. What's up, Dave?
Nice job,
Oh,
Dave.
yeah.
Jeez.
Back of the year nominee, by the way. Dave Rage right here. He says flashback to last year when him and, oh my gosh, Mike Solzerano.
Solorzano.
Thank you. I mean, did David? Oh, whatever. Mike and I went tuna fishing last July, and I believe this was the first overnight trip. And he says, guess what, guys? It's time to start rounding up your tuna fishing gear right now for the next season. That's right.
That's right.
That stuff goes quick. So there's a picture of Dave. There's a picture of Mike. He says we
What up,
fished on the
Mike?
producer. What's up, Mike? We fished on the producer out of H&M Landing overnight.
Oh,
This
there you
might
go.
have been Mike's first overnight trip, and he was stoked leading up to it. We were catching slow but steady all day, and Mike was getting nervous with no fish, But he finally got the skunk off midday. And we
Yeah.
both ended up with limits of bluefin.
Let's go.
Blue fevers around
Limits
the corner, dude.
and boat burgers. Whenever I go on those trips, I like to hit limits of boat burgers.
What is your limit?
There is no limit, Brian.
Triple legal?
Oh,
All
my
right,
gosh.
next up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's Stephen G. He's in chat right there, I think, right there. What's up, Stephen? He says, hey, Brian, here's a little something for Fishy Hour this week. And he says, I competed in a no-limit bass bag. Do you know what that is?
No.
A no-limit is like, in Spotty Bowl, it's our best 5.
Yeah.
A no-limit is as many fish as you can catch.
That's a good way to do it.
That's I'm sure the judge would love it if we did that. Somebody has a 60 fish day or something ridiculous. All right. I competed in a no limit big bass power hour tournament by Native Watercraft this past weekend. It's the 3rd year in California and my 2nd year competing. This year was on Clear Lake up north, which is about a 10-hour drive. So,
Yeah.
there was a record breaking amount of kayaks on the water of about 210 kayakers competing. Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow. Spotty Bowl's getting close to that. We're close to 200, but not all at once.
Dude, imagine
Mission Bay, 210 kayakers.
That's what it's gonna look like on April 20th. What?
This is the largest kayak tournament in California history. What?
Yeah.
We're gonna break. So here's a picture of Clear Lake right here. This tournament
That's
is
cool.
derby style competition with unlimited submissions, most inches. The first place paying $3,500, almost an hour of fishing in our tournament. If you catch the largest bass in our tournament, you win $1,000. It's no wonder the tournament draws so many anglers from the West. They also give out a brand new native Titan X kayak with lots of other prizes. Fishing was really tough though, he says, which was my understanding was usual for Clear Lake. A huge cold front had moved in on the tournament and made the bite really tough. Water temps were in the low 50s. Dang,
Wow.
even a largemouth would bite low 50s. That's tough. And the air temp was below 40.
Jeez.
Show that picture again. That's why I was wondering. Looks like you're ready for like deadliest
Yeah.
catch.
It doesn't look that fun anymore.
But in the 40s, that Sandy Higgins would just
That's
keel
so
up
cold.
and die if we got into that. Man. I got to practice in the high winds because I figured out the pattern tournament day, but unfortunately I didn't figure out the pattern until the last day. I managed to land one fish, an 18-incher on a Cool Baits underspin.
Oh,
Right,
nice.
Let's go. In a brush pile, I had 2 more strikes right off the boat. 4 or 5 strikes. It was a real heartbreaking story. That's the story of all of our lives there, Stephen. My one fish landed he got 95th place out of 210. Yeah, mid-pack.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. And there were 97 skunks. Yeah.
Look.
So 91 at one fish put you almost with 100 up. Some of the really good anglers had a hard time. I don't feel so bad. So let's see a few of these pictures from his Clear Lake adventure. Dang, look at that setup.
That's cool.
Sweet truck. That thing's way out the back. That's a nice setup right there.
Mhm.
And he also sent us a picture or a video of his Airbnb he went to.
That's nice. Relaxing.
Listen to birds. Trolling motor.
Oh yeah.
That is a big difference between like Mission Bay, where we're used to, where you go down there and there's like boats with, pumping music and the hot tub pontoons cruising, the jet skis are wild, and that's a big difference right there. All right, next up. There we go. Zachary Riggs sent in this picture. What's up, Zachary Riggs?
Oh,
Zachary
what?
Riggs says, saw this photo of a spotty at the Coronado boat launch ramp. Interesting looking spotty to choose to represent our population. Yeah, that is. Maybe it's just the lighting. I don't know.
Is that a printing malfunction?
I don't know.
That's
I
weird.
don't know. But that, if you go to Coronado Island, that's what they're saying. I'm trying to read this. Okay. Hide in the old grass. They got it right. All right. Next up, Roman, you get ready for some
Hey,
polls. So This is a segment we do. I've mingled this in with PB shoutouts because I think that it fits well in here, but it's called Cut or Cast. And Roman's going to put a poll up and you guys are going to vote. These are basically things that people make or submit or think they're a good idea. And we're going to vote if it's a cut, nah, or if it's a cast, heck yeah, I'm going to use it. So here we go. First cut or cast.
Oh my God.
Bam. So if you know who that is Matt Bershaw, Big Bass 619. What's up, Matt? He says, he called this an invention, I guess. He says, a custom 12 rod holder with a shower curtain rod, 4 plastic rod holders, and if you wrap the tips around with straps, it's like only 2 rods standing up. This Nitro is a great spotty platform, but lacked rod storage, so boom. Also, the rod is easy to remove for when you want to get into your party mode. Let's go, Matt.
That's awesome.
That is a party boat. It's like the mullet of boats. Let me show you this thing. No, oh yeah, I have a picture right here. It's like,
oh
it's
yeah,
like business up front and party in the back, baby.
All right, here we go. Custom rod holder.
Right there.
The people decide.
Custom rod holder, shower curtain, 12 rods at a time.
The
Are
poll.
we a cut or cast?
The poll is up.
Cut or cast. Cut or cast.
The votes are coming in hot,
And the
coming in
votes are
fast.
in. 657 votes already. So we're gonna give that a couple seconds. And you want to go to the result on that? Is that too fast?
No, we
Only
go.
'cause we're
We
going
got it.
later.
You guys got a couple
All right.
more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ending the vote. Cut or
Okay, the
cast.
vote
Here we go.
is
Cut or cast.
793 votes, and it is 50%, 54%
54%.
cast,
So it's a winner.
45% cut. So it's a winner, small mark. But not many people have the party up front or party in the back, business up front boat. You know what I mean? So it's a little unique to that, but you could adapt. I like the shower curtain rod thing. I think that's what
That's
sells
cool.
me on that.
Yeah.
I like it.
It
All right,
uses the
next
space
up.
when you need it, huh?
We got the Masters champion, Species champ, world record holder, Alex Norton himself. Look at that bump board. Alex, you're spending some time. The nice little drawings. How come you
that's
don't
cool.
do fancy drawings on your bump board? That's nice. Alex Norton says cut or cast, I guess. But yeah, this is cut or cast. Did the San Diego Anglers Bass Tournament this weekend. Got 4th place, by the way. Congratulations. They handed out these little tags on a rubber band, and they worked really well for displaying codes on my board. He says it comes with a rubber band, and it goes around your bump board. So let's see this. So he's got this rubber band wrapped around there. So I guess that's good because you can slide it back and forward. Cheap way, without, cheap way to put a, what do you call that? Code sticker, code card, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
And by the way, Alex, nice carpet. I miss carpet, man. We ripped all the carpet out of my house. I have wood flooring. Yeah, I miss carpet. Got a sharp A on the back. So is this a cut
like
or
that.
cast?
I like
Here
that.
it is in it. Here it is in all its glory right there. So rubber band card.
Cut or
see how he did.
cast.
Hey, if the Masters champion's gonna say it's good, guys, it's good.
And it's like you can erase it and draw it in again, right? It's like just a little alcohol.
Must be, yeah.
Yeah.
Must be.
I like it.
Easy way to remember. Easy way to keep your code in, which I like it. Okay, what are the results? We got 789 votes in here. Roman, go ahead and let's post those up.
All right, here we go. Final.
81% say cast, 18% say cut. There you go. So thank you,
cast
Alex, for submitting that. And guess what? We got another
Oh, we did.
cut or cast.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, keep going. This one's submitted by Dave Rage himself. He says, cut or cast to make it easy to tie knots or work on your fishing rod. Install a rod holder on your workbench. What? Look at that. So you're going to install that, and it keeps it vertical. And I think those things have a pretty good grip fist, to hold your rod in place while you're doing whatever, tying your knots, when you're tying your FG and your San Diego Jam, double San Diego Jam, and you don't have a third arm.
Practicing
There
your
you go.
FG
There's your
knot.
third arm. There you go. FG knots, whatever.
There we
So
go. The poll is up.
work,
Cut or
workbench
cast.
rod hold.
Cut or cast.
I like that one actually.
I'm voting cast for me on that. That's a good idea. I have a wooden workbench like that. I'll mount one of those things. So Dave Ridge coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody who submits a cut or cast. We do appreciate this. Even if it's like something simple to you, a lot of anglers out there may not know about this kind of stuff. So send them in. All right. We got
Wrap it up then.
430 votes on this one, Roman.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Post this, baby.
And all 430 votes, every single one of them voted to cast this.
100%. That's not our first 100%?
No.
Okay. Next up, our last cast.
Oh my God.
Buff Dude 69 puts this in. He says, for those long days on the water, there's Amazon makes a $10 stay dry, looks like stadium cushion, and I bought 2 of them, one for my butt and one for my back. So a cheap cushion, I guess. So, and he says they come in all kinds of colors. So bam, there you go. There's a cut or cast. So if you're, looking for a cushion for the kayak, or I guess anywhere, travel around with this thing, there you go. $10 seat cushion right there. Bam, one for the back. They make a specific one like Dave was talking about that has like lumbar. It's really fancy. But cut or cast on the Amazon cushion.
Cut or cast. Cut or cast.
Submitted by Buff Dude 69.
That's so funny. Oh, this is
like
controversial here. It's controversial.
Those are made out of like that memory foam. I meant memory foam.
Oh, this one's heated. We gotta keep it going. All right.
299, 300 votes are in. What's the results here on this on the stadium cushion?
Oh, it's so close. Here we go. Wrapping it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 2, 1.
Here we go.
And the result is 60% cast.
60% cast. Oh, a winner. Wow. Winners tonight. There you go.
All good ideas.
Yeah, I was out the other day, and the other day I couldn't tell if a person was waving at me or the person behind me. And in other news, I lost my lifeguard job. Terrible.
That's so sad.
I wanted to tell a joke in front of Dave, but I didn't want to get embarrassed. So here we go. All right. This weekend I went to Lake Hodges. You guys in the kayaks, guess what? Lake Hodges, the water level's low. So low that they're not letting the boaters in there because there's no boat launch ramp for them.
Wow.
The reason that lake is so low is you think, man, it's been raining nonstop, right? But the dam is over 100 years old, and I guess they've only allowed 25% of the lake to be full at all times. They're afraid they're going to be structural failure on that dam. So kayakers, if you got a kayak or a float tube, you're the only ones on the water right now, and shore pounders. So the boaters are out there, so can't go out there. So if you got a kayak, go check out Lake Hodges. It was pretty good. I caught myself some of these green weird fish, not spotties, but they kind of like are fishing like they, I don't know, this weird green fish I went out there and fished for. Went out there with my son, which is my favorite way to fish. Got on my kayak. There's my son right there on our brand new Passport I got from Fastlane. That thing's awesome, by the way.
That's awesome.
The thing I noticed about the Passport from the Pro Angler is I can pick that thing up like over my head, like solo. It's like you pick up that Pro Angler and you're like, oh my God. I mean, I'm not bagging on Pro Angler. It's a Cadillac, right? But man, there's something that's nice about having like a 50-pound kayak when you're coming in out of the water real quick. So simple and quick. That Passport is pretty dang sweet. Caught some bass. There he is catching some. Of course, as with Cash and with also Chet, the son's always out fish us. My son put on a clinic out there on me. And I might have a video here. Called it right in the tulies.
Awesome.
There you go, like a boss. And if any of you dads out there, man, if you get your sons into fishing, it's the best move you're able to do. Best times of my life. There's a largemouth right there. And last up, I went to SeaWorld again, and I keep seeing these signs pop up, and I love putting them on here because Roman's a huge
Oh,
supporter
my
of this
God,
kind of
dude.
action, right?
All
But
right.
SeaWorld's been
Brian's
saving.
just been released from the show. That's good.
Look at this. I saw this picture.
What up, Brian? How's it going today?
There you go. 4 at a time now,
Team
baby.
Orca only.
In other news,
Let me bring it back. Let me bring it back. No, don't show that. No, don't
in
play.
other
Like,
news-
bring it DMCA for the music, dude. Oh my gosh, they're not seeing it. They're not seeing it. Oh my
Hey, you
gosh.
gotta play it.
Just mute the video. We'll play it again. Ready?
I already did.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
That's-
Go.
In other news, SeaWorld released the sea lion.
Stop, dude. So sad.
And you know what? Who's taking this video? It's somebody we all know. If I could skip with my joke. There he is. He was filming that. Who is that guy? It's like the funniest thing he's ever seen in his life.
Oh my God.
And with that, Roman, I'm going to exit my screen share.
That's so sad. Oh my God. Dude, that's wild. That is wild.
Okay, guys. Hey, this weekend, Spotty Bowl, Mission Bay, all seriousness. We'll see how it goes, right? Keep those bump boards clean. And Roman, you going to join me with this?
Oh no,
Ready?
I'm good. I don't have a fresh one.
Let me catch my breath here before I attempt this.
I
but
know, we're gonna suffocate on that thing.
Don't forget, guys, to declare your day. I know this is a long show. Thank you again, Dave, for coming out. Thank you, Sammy. So here we go. It's Spotty Bowl this weekend. Mission Bay, Mission Lake, my favorite. So let's get out there and whoa. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to snag grass. I'm going to catch bass. I hope to see you guys out on the water. I am out of here later.
Awesome. Taking Brian out with a round of applause from the live studio audience. Let's go, Brian. Nice job. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Davey for tuning in today, for helping us make an awesome show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back here again Wednesday. Put that on your calendar. I need you back here every Wednesday at 7. It's our hangout time, okay? Come hang out. Learn about fishing. Results show next week for this weekend's Spotty Bowl session. It's going to be a blast. We'll have good times. We'll have funny dad jokes. We'll have scores. We'll have results for side pots for the main tournament. And it's going to be a fun time. Okay? So come back here next week. Share with your friends. If your friends are starting to get into fishing, let them know that we're doing a MMFC No Skunks meetup, where we will take our time to help them get their first fish. That'll be our goal for the session. Once everybody gets a fish, we'll continue to fish as normal, but the first goal is going to be for everybody on the session to catch a fish. No skunks. That'll be April 20th. Everybody's invited. You don't have to be in the club. You come join us, meet the group of guys. Find your next best fishing friend, and it's gonna be a blast. Take advantage of it, guys. It's like probably one of the best times to go out, because you're with a group of people that know what they're doing. We'll help you figure out how to launch, help you figure out how to get your kayak from your car to the actual launch site. Once you're on the water, give you some tips, give you some pointers on how to fish, how to maneuver, how to position your kayak when you're fishing. It's well worth the time. It's like basically getting a kayak fishing like instruction on the water. Okay, it's all free. No money is exchanging here. It's all out of the goodness of our hearts. We want to see you catch fish and show up. Okay, so that said, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. And until then, may the bite be with you. Woo! All right.